Dear viewers of Fijisan TV USA, in the moment of crisis, I wanted to post this video judging from what's going on in the media, especially social media. Anytime in the moment of crisis, we human beings tend to look for answers from various sources. I'm not qualified to speak on sources insofar as the faiths are concerned. But for everything, I really fall back on my faith-based literature for myself. Or literature means scripture. The source, what is the source of information? What is the source of guidance? So primarily, I fall back on my own source to double check, to take a clue, to take cues as to what is happening and where we are headed. There's one qualification I want to make before I go further, that in my understanding of faith is that almost every faith has some cautions or some warnings or predictions, I should say, regarding the crisis or the various crises that we face. Some in more definite terms, some in metaphorical sense. Bible, for example, is far more specific than any other source that I know, excepting the Quran. Quran came later after the Bible and added more specificity insofar as crises are concerned or calamities are concerned. If you look at the Bible, these calamities of various types the people suffered were in the form of chastisement or divine punishment. So there were a lot of warnings given ahead of time before a person or before a nation was taken account of or called to account for, or they suffered really, actually. The case of Noah and the pestilence and many examples, many yet to come. And as I said, Quran came with greater specificity, and much of which is in the Quran were reiterated in the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I wanted to clarify that. I don't have information on any other faith except the Christianity and Islam, as I've just outlined. But just to summarize my point, every faith has some indication. They've all pointed out to some kind of calamity, some kind of disaster taking place at various times of our history. We're going through a very critical time, and the reason these worldwide calamities take place is essentially an act of God to show that mankind has drifted away from his Creator. Either we are denying outrightly that there is no Creator, or we have a very superficial belief in the Creator. Once we recognize that there is a Creator, only one Creator, cannot be a Creator for Hindus, cannot be a Creator, separate Creator for Muslims, and separate Creator for the Christians, etc., etc., etc. God is one, so He's a Creator, one Creator who created the whole earth, but He didn't put the whole universe without guidance, without rules, two sets of rules. Let's be very clear. One is a set of rules called laws of nature, where medical science and whatever you have, physics, whatever sciences you can talk, there are certain rules, the established rules. If you understand and discover those rules, you'll be able to manage your life better. And then there are divine rules contained in divine books. Quran is one example. So both these sets of laws are actually a product of, they are divine products from God directly. So let's be clear. Nobody wrote the laws of nature. They're all written by God. So there's a spiritual set of laws, which are the divine laws in the books, especially I'm talking about Quran. And then there are natural laws. Violation of either of these laws will lead to some kind of consequence. Mankind will have to pay a price for that. So if you try to do some generic alteration, violating natural laws, you suffer a consequence. You violate the divine laws in the spiritual realm. For example, God says in the Quran, um, the riba, interest is prohibited. But if you want to violate, doesn't matter who, Muslim or non-Muslim or whoever, once you violate that law, you are violating a universal principle. You will suffer a consequence, as we are experiencing right now. We have been compelled to alter the rate of interest to zero, which is what the Quran tells us, no interest on any kind of loans. Well, that said, so what is happening right now? We are in a state of, mankind is in a state of denial. Actually, we are denying the existence of God. We are careless. We are very superficial in our belief. Our founder, the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission, was raised by God to infuse belief in God, to reinstate our belief in God. And he said it very, very clearly that a superficial belief in God is nothing. It's meaningless. He insisted on yaqeen kamila. You have to have a perfect, unshakable belief in God, that there is a God. He is the creator. And we have to turn to him for guidance, for blessings, to make our life easy, and to lead a path of righteousness. So I want to summarize that point. And I haven't found that kind of promise held out in any other book. So the message is very clear. If you deny, then you go for punishment. So we're in a state of denial. Denial not only of the existence of God, but whoever God sends at the time to bring back the fold back to God. And if you deny him, you're still responsible. God chooses his own agents, and this is the 14th century, and it was a time determined, predetermined for the guidance of mankind, that he was going to send somebody with enormous power of knowledge to convince people of the existence of God. That person, the only person that makes that claim and comes out loud and clear, look at the history, is Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, whom people have assailed from all corners, have rebuked him and abused him and ridiculed him, challenged him. They all suffered. All of them suffered a defeat in shame. So this is a phase that we're going through. Not that it just happened and it's going to go away, but it is a caution, a warning to mankind to wake up and realize first the existence of God. And I tell you what, nobody will be able to convince you of the existence of God more than Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian. Take it or leave it, it's on the table. If you have a question, give me a call, 510-677-4488, right here. You can call me here, text me, and I'll take it over from there. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.